Hello, all, and welcome back to another episode of Race for Safe. My name is Brittany Owens, and I am your podcast host. And today I have a special treat. Have my daughter Bria, all the way in from the state of Georgia, who's going to sit with us and talk with us today. So we're going to pause our segments that we're been doing, and we're just going to have a real conversation. Bria, introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, my name is Bria. Hi, my name is Bria. Um, I'm a freshman in college at Valdosta State University. I'm a nursing major and I'm 18.
Thank you, Bria, for joining me today. I want to let you all know that this conversation is going to be a very sacred and intentional one. And my daughter, Bria, has watched me go through many life transitions as we grew up together. I had her when I was just a teen myself, and we had to learn and unlearn many things together. Isn't that right, Bria?
Yeah.
And as we get into this segment today, we're definitely going to stick with our topic of s- running from toxic to safety, breaking cycles, and how to unlearn patterns and adapt healthy patterns so that we can be whole and stop surviving so we can start thriving. So, Bria,
Mm.
what are some things that was, are you considered was toxic as 18 months for
Oh, um, what did I consider that was toxic?
you? Cycles, unhealthy.
Certain conversations when it came to situations on talking to you, in the sense of I felt like you didn't listen. It was like you were on the highway.
And how did that make you feel?
Um, at that time, it's like, okay, I know what she says. Okay. And I felt like you didn't hear or understand me at that time. But as I get older, or as I got older, I understand you're just trying to protect me and you're also dealing with your own things.
Do you have a question for me?
Did you realize it just wasn't stress, but it was survival?
Um, when I was trying to rest and it didn't calm me, when I knew that my body was always in fight or flight mode, stress ends with the situation when the situation ends. And my situation never ended. I always had something that was going on and just trying to feel like I'm trying to keep myself afloat. I was responding to the past when slowing down. My anxiety was louder and not quieter. And I just always was on high alert. So that's when I knew that stress wasn't just stress, it was survival. I was always in a place or a position of always trying to figure it out, stand on high alert, always cautious or proceeding with cautious and just thinking the worst.
Hmm. What did you grow up thinking was normal now? But now I know it wasn't safe.
Whoo, child. Silencing myself, kind of similar to what you just said, not being able to voice my opinions to my parents always with them understanding me, um, being responsible for adult emotions. not just parents, but even sometimes teachers and certain people that God placed in your path, um, silencing your feelings to protect how they feel, so you won't, I guess, so you will not cause them any more stress. Um, believing that love and endurance, like if we could just get through this week, we in love. It was toxic. What you older people now, well, younger people, this you call situationships. So believing in love meant endurance, and making strength meant never needing help. I confuse adaptation with character. That's what trauma does. It disguises itself as personality. You all like to say, that's just how I am, but it's really not. You're toxic.
I'm just a
Like,
girl.
toxic.
I'm just
So toxic. What do you have to say on that? Like,
I
cause
will
you
shut up for
guys
you guys.
say that a lot. Like, this is just how I am.
I'm just a girl.
And what does that mean?
Basically, that's just how we were raised, and that's all we know. So as you get older, it's hard to unlearn certain characteristics and traits that you adapted from your parents. Yeah.
Right. And that's why we got this podcast, Race for Safe, because just because it was learned or you was in that environment growing up does not mean that that is what we ought to do and how we're supposed to live.
And you know that as you grow up and learn, you want better, you want to change and make differences, and you want to grow away and stay away, clear from that toxic environment. Is it hard at times? Yes. Because sometimes you just want to argue and yell at a person, but you have to understand that communication is key, and without if you don't have comprehension, there's no communication.
Correct. So what do you feel like survival took away from you? Like being in survival mode, what did that take away from you? For example, like growing up quick.
Yeah, I had to grow up fast, and I had to be more mature at a younger age than now. So it's like I didn't really, I did, but didn't really get to be a child. It's like yes, I have responsibilities now.
Right.
So now I'm sick of these college responsibilities.
You what? Sick of being a adult in the college community
Overly.
already? Well, I'll tell you what Survivor took from me as a woman. It took my softness, my femininity. I just wanted to be a female living in my soft girl era, as most women once, and I never had the chance to do that because of some of the consequences and choices and decisions that I made that led me to where I were in life. I never had the ability to sit and receive. We always say that love is what it does, not what it says, and it should be reciprocated. But I was always the one who was giving, sacrificing, um, never able to just receive. And even when I did receive, I was in that fight or flight stage. Always on alert, always being aware. Um, I became functional before I became embodied. I knew how to do, but not how to be. So I know how to get stuff done, but I didn't know how to be me, just a female in softness and receiving love because I didn't know what love was.
Mm. What do you think that was what do you think was strength that was actually harming you?
Oh, that's a good question. What I thought was strength that was harming me would be endurance, staying in places, situations, circumstances longer than I was supposed to be there, saying that, oh, I can make this work. And it really was God trying to strip it apart, and silence, never letting my voice be allowed, loud, protecting others at the expense of my silence for the things that was done to me, things that was said to me, um, self abandonment, neglecting self care, self love, uh, things that most people will, poor people label as luxury, such as your appearance, keeping yourself up, making sure you're well groomed, making sure your hair is done. That is not a luxury, that is a necessity. And I know we like to say the terminology of when you look good, you feel good, but in all honesty, that's just loving yourself, because when you take care of yourself, also like when you're healed, you can give people the best version of yourself. So yeah, I would say endurance, silence, self abandonment is things I've mistaken for strength that actually was harming me. And if your strength costs you your body, your voice, and joy, it's not strength, it's survival, wearing a cape.
That's interesting.
Very much so.
Mm. How did that affect the people you love?
That affected the people I love because I was bothered through struggle and not safety. It was hard. If it was hard, I stayed. So, um, you've been with me through many of my relationships, and because it was hard, I wanted to stay, but really I should have been walking away and putting me first and choosing me over trying to prove a point to people or to myself that, oh, if I just work a little harder, everything would align. So, um, yeah, it affected me a lot because if it was a calm situation, I would question it or whatever. A lot of people be like, "Oh, I'm in this relationship and everything feels so right. Like something got to be wrong." And we end up looking for like, what a red flag at? What a red flag at? When sometimes it's actually not a red flag, but you so always functioning dysfunction that
To be
I
too
gotta
old
have.
to true.
Yeah, I got to have some type of toxic. Like, I need an argument. Let's argue.
But
You got so you want to stay there, Mel?
I'm just a girl. Just a girl. Yeah.
Have you done things like that, or do you feel that you are learning to learn that that is not healthy and that is toxic?
Past tense, I haven't done that. And did I learn how to communicate and listen? Yes. After a while. But around that time. mm, Being with that person was very interesting. He taught me a lot of things. But how did you becoming a mother expose that for you and affect you, but also help you grow?
Um, it exposed what I never had. Like, I love my parents. They gave us a foundation of what family's supposed to be, like a two-parent household, making sure you keeping a roof over your head, lights on, food or whatever. And just what it should be from the outside looking in, but in the very beginning of being young, it wasn't always what it seemed to be. And even being a pregnant teen mom with you, I've learned you have to listen to your children. They understand when they make mistakes and they already know that they disappointed you. So that taught me that you all need emotional regulation that I never had. And I had responsibility instead of reassurance. So sometimes I have to take a step back and reassure you all instead of giving you all more responsibility. I realized that I was parenting with wounds. I didn't even have enough language for it yet. And I may not have known how to be a parent, but I wanted to parent differently than the way I was parent because I didn't like some of the ways, not all of the ways, but some of the ways that my parents raised me. So I said I'll create my own. And you can't create, well, you can create it, but you got to get some knowledge because me having in my mind to create my own foundation and family and rules and way I wanted things to go didn't necessarily mean I had it the right answers and the right programming, I guess.
Yeah, I turned off, huh? But yeah. So what cycles did you break with us?
Whew. The cycles I broke with you all were emotional neglect. I allow you all to make room and express yourself. Don't mean that I always agree or always
Nobody know if I call that phone.
let you finish, but I gave you all a safe space to let you know that it's okay to communicate your emotions. I also broke silence around pain. I identified burnout as um identity. So when you're burnt out to rest, and that love had to be earned. Like love isn't something that has to be earned. And I just wanted you all to feel safe inside. I knew I couldn't keep living in the same patterns I grew up in. I couldn't pretend that just surviving was enough or silence around pain was okay. So the cycles I was determined to break were real, deep, and messy. I refuse you all. I refuse to let you all grow up feeling like your feelings didn't matter, like y'all had to scream to be loved, like your tears and fears and anger were inconvenience. I wanted you all to feel seen, even in the chaos, even when things was not going as planned. Um, Silence around pain, like in our house, we don't sweep things under the rug, when it's talking about what goes on in this house stays in this house.
Yes.
Like my color folk, we got to stop that. Like we can't always be saying what goes on in this house stays in this house. And I get it. It's certain things that shouldn't just go out in the air that happen in the house. But if you're not creating a safe environment for your child, then that child needs to be able to go to that safe space, whether it's a family member, such as a grandma, aunt, uncle, or whatever, or whether it's a therapist, or a resource officer, or whatever the case may be. But when you hold in trauma, toxic, unhealthy things, you begin to get bitterness in your heart. You begin to hold grudges and grief or never even process how you feel and then grow numb. So I never agreed with that as a child because also I think Bria like this one. How you telling me what goes on in this house, stay in this house, but by the time I make it to the family reunion,
Everybody
everybody know my business. So you don't told all my aunties, uncle, cousin, grandmother about business.
right. How
But
do
yet,
everybody know my business? And I didn't even say nothing, and you on the phone with everybody. I just like y'all school. Let me tell you what this child. What? Make it make sense.
right. So I just believe in having boundaries. Like you set boundaries, and it's okay to leave a conversation that is getting heated and not resolved. Like I allow my children to be able to call uh family meetings, not just for me and my husband to do, but they're allowed to call family meetings if something is concerning them. They need to get something off their chest, and we sit and we talk about it. Now, of course, as a child, there are a time, a place for everything, and you have to honor their mother and their father, so your days will be long. But yeah, if I say, "Hey, we're gonna go to the park," and the children like, "No, I really don't want to go to the park. Um, I want to go to the beach." Well, if the weather is nice and there's not a issue with going to the beach, why not go to the beach? Like something as simple as that. Or like my daughter, I allowed her to start dating. Well, I allowed her to start dating in high school. What she did before that, amen. But
Oh, get the people out my business now.
but you know, I've never been the mother to pass my judgment on her. I've always sat down with her and talked to her so that she could see the choices that she was making, whether they were good for her or whether they weren't good for her, was all up for her to decide. And all I did was support that. And that was different for us because my parents was the parents is like, negative. What I say is what goes. And if they didn't like the person, then that was it. Not that you couldn't have a boyfriend or whatever, but it had to be the one they liked it. And most of the time back in the day, the ones that y'all like were the worst ones. But I digress.
Anyways,
Yes, ma'am.
no, because now I'm thinking about high school. wait, wait. Especially that one, just stupid. Like, oh,
But you lived there, you learned, right?
yeah, I like a lot. Narcissist. Anyways, not the point. Not the point, y'all.
But how did that help you to be you? Because I never,
You mean after I healed?
well, no, I'm just saying, like, how did you learn what was for you, what's not for you, and how to move forward? Because I never really, unless it was schoolwork, so you're not gonna tell me what you're gonna do with your life with when it comes to school. But when it comes to your personal life, and you may ask me my opinion, but I let you know that those decisions and choices are up to you. How did you navigate learning those choices? Like, Bria needs to do this, Bria don't need to do this, Bria needs to be around these type of people, Bria don't. This is for Bria, this is not for Bria.
Mm, I would say with being in college as of right now, high school, middle school, elementary, all very different. And as I got older and learned and matured, you learn your values, your standards, and you also take key points such how your parents raised you. Like my mom raised me to be independent and smart, and she raised me to have high standards. Don't lower yourself or your self esteem to meet this person point in values or to just fit in with this crowd or
Self love,
yes, I learned self love, self respect, my worth, and
boundaries.
yes, most
Yeah,
definitely
letting your yes be yes and
your
your no
no be
be
no,
no.
because that's still no business. Let me know. Let me know you're not gonna disrupt my peace and the purpose that God has for me. So you have to learn when certain situations are worth to give a reaction to, and when certain things are just better left unsaid,
Unspoken.
unsaid, and just left alone.
Yeah.
It'll be worth it. Lord.
And a lot of times, some things are better left unsaid because it protects your peace. And remember, peace is for you. And that's part of what self love. And if it disrupts your peace, then
Yeah.
that's chaos. That's strife and confusion. And what strife and confusion is what? Every evil work. And God is not the author of confusion. So self love plays a lot in how you view yourself and how you take care of your peace, love, joy, laughter, because God wants us all to be happy and at peace and at rest. So, yes, ma'am. What else you got for me?
Um, what does survival cost you spiritually and emotionally?
Ooh, child. I can say this now in confidence because I done grew up a little bit, but I trusted God's power before I trusted His gentleness. And even as I'm just thinking about that at this moment, I remember sitting in church for a couple's ministry, and our pastor, she asked us to share something about us or something about our spouse. And it's so funny because I said, she said, "What do you like about, your mate?" And we was all talking about our mate, and I said, "I like that he's gentle with me." And a lot of people may be going, "Ooh, you nasty," but no, I've always had to be in survival mode. I always had somebody hollering at me, cussing at me, beating on me, and my husband was just gentle, like
He'll,
soft spoken,
he'll look at her and be like, okay, you done now?
right?
And then so he got sick because
Like sometimes I can be on 100 and he on like -30 because he is just that mellow. So dang, God is good. That was for me right there. But um survival cost me spiritually and emotionally. I trusted God's power before I trusted his gentleness. I knew how to war. Oh my God, did I know how to war? Cause baby, when I was out there in that world, baby, I would go toe to toe with you. But now I go like Pastor Sarah J. Roberts say, bar to bar with the enemy. For everything he got to say, I come back with a scripture. And I knew how to war, but not how to rest in God. I believed in deliverance more than safety, and that imbalance mattered. What I mean is like I knew how to fight in prayer. I knew how to war spiritually. I knew how to fast, intercede, and call breakthrough into situations. Clock it. I'm telling you, I pray down a house. I pray down a house. I don't know nothing else to do. I'm at the mission of the name. I'm gonna call it into alignment real quick. I believe in deliverance. I believe that God could get me out of anything. I trusted that He could move mountains, break chains, set people free. But here's the thing, I didn't know how to rest in Him. I didn't know how to just be in His presence and feel safe. I didn't know what it looked like to be held by God without having to stay alert, without having to stay strong, and without having to fight every battle just to survive. Somewhere along the way, I learned how to survive spiritually, but I didn't learn how to soften. I realized I believe in deliverance more than I believed in safety. That's probably why I got a heart for deliverance, y'all. And that matters because when your heart is trained to always fight, and that has been me, I have always had to fight. Like all my life, I had to fight for real.
I was trying to think back and chill.
Your soul forgets how to breathe. My prayer became labor, and my life became a constant battle. Like I was on the battlefield, and I don't want to be on the battlefield. Like let's move on how we get breakthrough and go to on to the next. and you can still win the fight and still feel like you're losing everything inside. And that was the reality of my life, seriously. I've lived my life in survival mode since I was 14, 15 years old. I knew how to be strong, how to endure, how to carry heavy things, and thank God for that. That version of God saved me many times, but somewhere along the way, I forgot He could be gentle. And now I'm learning that resting in Him isn't weakness, it's trust at a deeper level. It's knowing I don't have to stay hyper vigilant to be loved. It's believing that nothing bad would happen if I stop striving. It's letting myself be held even when I feel tired, unsure, or broken. It's going to sleep at night, girl, peacefully, and saying, cast all my cares on you, Lord, for you cares for me. And the righteous cry out, and He hears me. So I thank God for bringing me through and teaching me how to not just trust, but to rest in Him. And I want to tell not just my daughter, but you all here, if you've been strong for a long time and carrying things nobody else knows about, you're allowed to rest. Oh, child, you're allowed to rest. You're allowed to let God be gentle with you. You're allowed to finally believe that you are safe in His presence. Sometimes healing looks like letting yourself be held. And I'm learning that. I just want you to know that you're allowed to rest here at this place of Race for Safe where we run from toxic into safety. You're allowed to be softened, and it doesn't make you less spiritual. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you human, and it makes you whole. What else did you have for me today, Bree?
What do you think protected me? What do you think you protected me from that you didn't have growing up?
Having to grow up too fast. I noticed elementary and maybe sixth grade, you had to grow up fast. And I would rely on you to cook meals, watch your siblings, and to do things while I was always constantly working and never home. But around the eighth grade through high school, I allowed you to be a child again. And I seen that you didn't know how to do that. You didn't know how to balance it. And I was like, Bria, I don't want you to worry about that. Bria, I just want you to be a child. And you and
Y'all, she did not want me to have a job, and now I wish I listed because all I do is work now on top of go to school.
yeah, like I told you, I was like, girl, this is your senior year. You need to enjoy yourself
No,
and
y'all, I
you
wanted
wanted
a
to
job,
grind.
and now I like making money, but I still be tired. I be calling her. I be like, "Mommy, I'm ready to go home." Till you just got to work.
Um,
Ready to go home.
I also protected you from having to read adults and letting you know that you're not responsible for the way others respond and you're not responsible for people's emotions. Like, just because I'm sad don't mean that you're responsible for making me unsad. Like, what? It's okay to be empathetic and have empathy for people, but that is not your burden to carry. What else? Having to earn love. I did. Um, I did. You didn't have to
My mommy loves me, y'all. Deep down.
earn my love. Like I always told you all, I love you. I do to this day. Every day you call me, we hang up. I love
For
you,
you,
mama. I love you, Bree. Um,
y'all.
cause love is what it does. It's not what it says. And Jesus didn't make us earn His love. Like He loved us before we even decided to love him. And I may not be perfect, but that's the way I choose to show up, is loving everyone the way that Christ loves me and extending that guape love, even in my imperfections, our imperfections. Cause God know who child, He be giving you grace and mercy. Them twins, grace and mercy.
Families.
And you were allowed to feel without being punished. I let you have your mental health days from school. I believe that my mom taught me that. I'm sorry. Like I've said, my parents, they did have some good things.
Let me tell y'all. If I did not feel like going to school, I did not have to go. Because as long as my work is done and I'm making good grades and everything, for me to be able to stay home, I had to have a good reason. I just don't feel like going. And my mental health. On top of my working grades had to be in check for me to stay home. She just didn't just let me stay home. Maria, did you do your work? Maria, is your work done? Yes.
Yes, but you was able to regroup, reset without having to explain why. And I find that being very important because even us as parents, as adults, we can get overwhelmed. We can get to a point to where we just need a moment. And when I sense my children stressing because they just had tests back to back to back to back,
She
like
told me to get me.
they get a break. They need a break too. Life don't just be lifing for us. Life be lifing for them too. So allow your child to have a break.
I'll text her, be like, "Mom, can you come pick me up?" She'll be like, "Why, Bria?" And then I'll tell her a little bit. She's coming to get me with some food because I be hungry because I don't eat school food. But um,
What do you see, Bria, in college culture that reminds you of survival culture?
bills and responsibilities. Like, wait, I be thinking, dang,
Overachievement
that too.
as worth.
I mean, I think it be standards when you have to live up to certain standards because
But
it's
whose standards? Your standards, world standards, people standards, standards of your parents, like.
all the above.
But that's survival mode because one thing you have to learn is that your life is you. And Dad, I know you probably gonna watch this, and I love you so much. But I went to school to be a patient care tech to try to prove a point, and yeah, I was at top of my class as my sister. I had a higher GPA than her, and I party. I drank club and all everything, and it wasn't for me. I dropped out of school because I was trying to prove a point to somebody instead of doing something that I wanted to. And instead of, I ain't gonna say being ahead in life because God is purposeful with our journey, but I wasted 7 months doing something that did not matter, did not benefit me, and I had to start all over to go to school for business and operations and entrepreneurship because, baby, I thank God for y'all medical workers in the healthcare field. But baby, won't care. What? It got me. It ain't for me. Had a weak stomach. And you can't worry about standards of anyone because your life is for you. So you have to do what's best for you and not for others or what others think you should be doing because you'll find yourself back at the same point, starting all over because you were trying to please people and not yourself. And we as parents will get on board eventually because we have to understand that it's your life and not ours. So yeah.
To a certain extent, because you be telling me if I sound dumb, you gonna tell me I sound dumb. Like Maria, don't be not saying that. But yeah,
I'm not going to allow you to make the same mistakes that I've made because God allowed me to make those mistakes so you don't have to go through it. But other than that, I allow you to talk about it, walk yourself through it, and you figure out what's best for you. Yeah.
Oh Lord, that nursing major. Um, what do you feel is a toxic behavior that feels normal?
Who child not sleeping, overloading schedules, hook up culture without emotional safety, living disconnected from the body, don't know if you're coming or going. And people are performing and not processing. I see so many patterns that people call normal, but they actually harmful. Not sleeping. People act like sleep is optional as if exhaustion is proof of dedication, strength, or worth. But it's not. Not sleeping is just a mask for stress, anxiety, and unmet needs. It's the body screaming for rest while the mind keep racing. Overthinkers. And we've all been taught to ignore it because grinding is celebrated. I'm in my grind, I'm focused, I got stuff to do, I'm achieving this,
I got stuff to do.
and then overloading schedules. We pack our days so full that there's no time to breathe, to reflect, just be. And we teach our children and ourselves that being busy equals being valuable.
And productive.
Right. But all that busyness is often a way to avoid dealing with pain, loneliness, or our emotions we don't know how to sit with. You don't want to think about what you need to be thinking about or why you're really sad and what's the real core of the issues, right? And the hookup culture without emotional safety is seen everywhere now. I mean, everywhere. That's some situationships and all of that stuff. Um, the idea that physical connection can be replaced emotion it can replace emotional connection. Negative, and that's nasty. Y'all better be going to go
Anyways,
get married before having relations. But intimacy is not just skin to skin. People are told that that's normal to detach, to perform, to avoid vulnerability. But real safety and real connection requires present honesty and boundaries. And celibacy. Without emotional safety, it's not intimacy at all. It is exposure without protection. And maybe when my daughter come back next time, we could do a segment on celibacy, situationship, soul ties, because
um,
let's get it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, man.
I don't think that's what I want to talk
Also, living
about.
disconnected from the body. We've forgotten how to listen to ourselves. Our body carries memory, emotion, tension, and truth. But many of us don't even notice. Like, we just done. Like, you be talking about, oh, my neck hurt, my back hurt, my shoulder hurt. Your body talking to you because you need the rest. Like, we override signals of fatigue, hunger, sadness, stress, thinking we have to keep going and keep performing when really we just need to rest. Like, be still. Like, remember, you used to hate that when I tell you, like, bro, no, you've been ripping and running all week. That's what that means. Like,
I still don't know what that is to this.
living disconnected from the body. You don't know if you're coming or going. Eyes be puffy, bags under your eyes, and you still, Mom, can I go? Can I go? No. Go lay down. Um, yeah. So I want people to know, especially my children, that Processing is just as important as performing. Healing takes time, attention, and honesty. And rest is not weakness. It's really not. Rest is necessary. It's not weakness. I promise, baby girl. And feeling is not failure, and slowing down is not lazy. It's revolutionary. You need to rest so that you can think clearly, so that you can grind and go get your check. All of the above. And I believe that rest is very hard for people because stillness tells the truth. You have to like sit and really think about life.
It might be a little too silent.
And silence bring grief to the surface. Like what you really dealing with on the core at the inside. What's the root cause? Which is tied back to truth.
No.
Morning relationships, friendships, situationships,
Wait,
choices.
what is your definition of a situation?
Y'all tell me because I don't be knowing. And if you in one, you need to get out
Oh
of
no,
one.
I'm not in one.
No, I'm just saying
Oh,
in general, if people are in one, they need to get out of one because that's not a place to be. You should have a
that
clear understanding
situationship
of
is.
your relationship, friendship,
Listen, I'm
partnership.
about to tell you what it is. A situationship is you're more than friends, but you're not boyfriend and girlfriend. You in the middle. That's what that is. And I just be looking at people. I be like, shake my head.
Mm,
Right. Why do you think students are afraid to rest?
because
Because what?
they just think that they got to be going and moving. And they don't want to actually deal with their inner self. Like you have to self reflect. So you don't want to rest because when you are well rested, you start to look at yourself and see what it is that you could do to improve, what you need to change, which environments you need to be in, which environments you don't need to be in. Like, yeah,
Yes and no.
you can't think clearly when you're not rested,
You know what?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Um, yes. You know, sometimes you be very, very all over the place and a little stressed because I gotta get this work done. I get this work done. This deadline. I still gotta go to work. Still gotta find time to study. I have to find time for other things. But
And then
sometimes it's good to work under pressure. You know.
No, and that's another toxic thing. Like I was one who always said, "Oh, I thrive under pressure," but no, wait until the last minute to meet deadlines. That ain't thriving. That is just survival. Like I don't even know how to bring balance to my life and to my schedule because I'm on high alert always. So it's not that I thrive under pressure. It's just that, oh, I put that on the back burner because life was life and or I had other things that I thought was more important and I didn't prioritize because my mind was so cloudy and it was going 110,000 miles per hour. So I couldn't think, and now all of a sudden it's 7 o'clock at night, and my essay is due at 11:59 p.m. Lord, I thrive under pressure. No, you saying, Lord, I need you. That's what you're saying.
Y'all, I done called my mama one time about one of my essays because I didn't even start. Mind you, I was here the whole weekend. She told me, "Bree, did you do your essay?" No. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Y'all, I waited till the last minute to do that essay. Good thing I passed, but oh no, wing it in prayer. Wing it in prayer.
And we're going to start wrapping this up. And one thing that I want to cover is what is something I'm still unlearning? I will let Bria go first and then I will answer. Bria, what is one thing that you're still unlearning?
Unlearning or learning?
unlearning, or it could be learning because I know you had to unlearn a lot to learn. So, what are you either or learning or unlearning?
I'm learning that I'm learning that I don't have to be on every scene. It's okay to miss out. It's okay to not participate in certain things.
What y'all be doing? Clock it.
It's okay
Yes.
to not fit in this group, that group, because you're not meant for everybody. You're meant to be different, unique, and to be yourself. So certain groups, social groups,
Fearfully and wonderfully made, handcrafted by the Father. You better say it, baby.
don't really fit with you, your standards, or your priorities. So my priorities have changed from fall semester towards this semester. So I'm more of working towards my goals and aspects in life. Was I on detour mission at first? Yes, and I done did some things fall semester. Amen. Cause yeah. But I'm working on it.
Learning to be comfortable in your own skin and who God have created you to
Yes.
be. That is music to a mother's heart.
And I'm also learning. Yeah, everything doesn't deserve a response. Sometimes you have to protect your peace and not just your image as a person, but your surroundings and your space. It's certain energy is not good energy or needed energy. It's-
Yeah, because protecting your peace is self love. So peace is for you, not necessarily for the other person or people or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, because I'm gonna go sleep at peace. I'm not gonna go sleep stressed and wake up stressed and irritated. 'Cause
Girl, you said a mouthful now. You better say something, girl. And something that I'm unlearning is that rest has to be earned. That rest doesn't have to be earned. That I am responsible for it. That I'm not responsible for everyone emotion, and that slowing down is not dangerous.
yes,
It's not. Like if you tired, recuperate, rejuvenate.
y'all, I be asleep and she be calling me, and then she be like, "Oh, you asleep?" Yes, mommy, I was asleep because when it's time for me to sleep, I enjoy it.
So that's all we got. And as we bring this treat to a close, cause my baby girl was in town, I just want you all to know that you just have to prioritize yourself, heal yourself, deal with self before you can be anything to anyone else, before you can show up as the best version of yourself. And make room and space for children in your life, or if you're a mentor for your mentees to just express themselves. And don't always be so quick to judge or to pass your judgment on them, and to help them navigate finding their own solutions to their situation and circumstances. Like, create a safe space for them while they're learning how to love them, because the new version of them is new to them. They're unlearning things and stepping over into being healed and whole. So, what you got to say to sum up this episode, Bree?
Let your kids be free but intentional. Like everything that they do has to be intentional and have a purpose, but hear them out. Cause y'all, I call I call her randomly too every day, and I be talking to her, and she listens. She might not agree, or she may shake her head, like when I called her around my birthday about my piercing. But a child gonna be a child.
Not a child is gonna be a child, but it gets to a point to where
But yeah,
you live
and you
and you
learn.
learn. So Thank you all for tuning in tonight. This is Race for Safe, where we stop glorifying survival and start choosing safety. If this conversation named something in you, let it. You don't have to race anymore. You can always remember to drop any questions or comments down in the chat. Do not forget to hit the like, follow, and share button. And this week, I want you to be intentional about choosing one thing that was unhealthy, toxic to unlearn and apply that all week. So if you learned to cuss, stop cussing. If you learn that love look like physical abuse, domestic violence, run. Also call the domestic hotline. Like get out, exit. It's not gonna change. I want you alive, well, healed, and whole. Once again, thank you for sitting with me and my daughter, and you all be blessed.